Look around you for a moment. The air you breathe, the water you drink, the food you eat. None of this exists in isolation, and none of it stays unchanged when humans interfere with it. That simple observation is where environmental science begins. Most people assume environmental science was invented in universities, written into textbooks, and then applied to the real world. That assumption is wrong. Long before it had a name, people were already using its logic to survive. They noticed patterns, they made adjustments, and they learned, often the hard way, that nature responds to human actions. Let's make this practical. Imagine waste piling up near where people live. The smell grows stronger, water becomes contaminated, disease spreads. So people move the waste away. They separate clean water from dirty water. They protect their living spaces. No theory, just observation and response. What's happening here is environmental reasoning at its most basic level. Humans notice that air, water, and land respond to what they do, and that those responses directly affect health, productivity, and economic stability. Now let's take this one step further. In the 19th century, this everyday reasoning was formally documented. One of the first people to clearly recognize the problem was George Perkins Marsh. He observed how deforestation, poor land use, and unchecked development were already damaging soil, water systems, and long-term economic output. His work challenged a dangerous belief that nature was endless and could absorb unlimited damage without cost. That realization changed how societies thought about growth. Environmental science evolved into a discipline that studies how human activity alters natural systems and how those altered systems feed back into public health, infrastructure, food supply, and national economies. The focus shifted from reacting after damage to managing risk before losses became irreversible. Now zoom out. Industrial emissions drive healthcare costs and air quality regulation. Agricultural runoff threatens water security and global food markets. Unplanned urban expansion increases climate risk and infrastructure spending. These are not isolated problems. They are interconnected systems under pressure. This is why environmental science now sits at the center of global decision-making. International organizations like the United Nations coordinate environmental research, policy, and action through frameworks such as the United Nations Environment Program and the Sustainable Development Goals. These efforts rely on environmental data, monitoring systems, and scientific assessment to guide governments, industries, and cities toward more resilient and sustainable choices. Environmental science exists to map these connections, measure impact, and inform regulation, investment, and long-term planning. It increasingly depends on satellite monitoring, climate models, and AI-driven analysis to predict risk and support evidence-based decisions at a global scale. And this is why environmental science matters today more than ever. Clean air reduces healthcare expenditure. Clean water lowers public health risk. Stable ecosystems protect agriculture and energy systems. Environmental stability supports economic resilience and political stability. When environmental systems fail, the consequences appear as rising costs, supply chain disruption, forced migration, regulatory pressure, and global instability. Before we end, zoom out one last time. Environmental science is not about ideology. It is about limits, trade-offs, and informed decision-making. It turns observation into data, data into models, and models into smarter policies and investments. In the next episode, we move deeper into ecosystems and energy flow, where we'll see how natural balance is maintained and what happens when that balance breaks. This series is part of the Learning Studio, where ideas are built step by step, so every episode connects and the full picture actually makes sense. This isn't memorization. This is how the modern world functions.